Yeah, the mash. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash.
I wonder if that can be, if that's rights free. Are people actually afraid of networking?
Absolutely. Count me as one of them.
Are you? Well, it's a good thing you're here at this episode, because for some it ranks right up there with bungee jumping off a cliff.
Absolutely.
And in honor of today, Halloween, we're going to talk about the networking fear factor. Yeah, buddy. That's right. We got a whole list of phobias. Did you know there are networking phobias that people, yeah. And we got 7 remedies to send that fright right out of sight.
All right.
Okay.
Lay it on us, Cheryl.
So, Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
Making money.
and faster, for sure, because we're going to work through some of these and help you maybe identify something, and then let's create some remedies. All right, right off the bat, let's jump into this, because we've got some good lists, some great props, yummy, and I want to start out with why people are afraid. What are some of their fears? I know you've got a little list there.
Okay.
What are your top 3 fears?
My top 3 are, the first one really is the fear of the unknown.
Okay.
When you go to a networking event, don't know anybody there, never been there before, it's the unknown. You don't know what to expect. Number 2 would be, I don't know how to prepare. Yeah. So when you go in there with a lack of confidence, you're going to then be kind of a little stressed out, have a little bit of anxiety. And then my last one is, there's a lot of people out there, Cheryl, that just feel anxious about approaching other people.
There is a huge fear factor. It's right up there with eating worms on
Exactly,
a television show.
Exactly.
So I got to give you my top 2. So I got a pretty deep list, but my top 2. And so this is a great example of, it's a fear of rejection. Because
yes.
people feel ghosted.
Yeah.
And so that falls right into our theme today.
Absolutely. I like that.
For Halloween, we have a fear of not fitting in.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of like your anxiousness, but they actually mask up, like they're not themselves.
Right.
So they put on a fun mask, a frightening mask, but whatever it is, it's not genuine.
Right.
And I think that just adds to the fear. Like it just fuels the fear. So 5 common phobias. Do you have a phobia?
Probably a fear of heights.
Really?
Fear of heights.
Fear of heights, not fear of ice?
No, not fear.
Not fear of falling on the ice?
No, feel good
Not
about
fear of
ice.
curling? Okay, heights. So we know that you're not going to be...
Well, the biggest part is, when you go into one of those fancy hotels that has, when you're on like the 15th, 20th floor, and they have the atrium, and you got to lean over the rail, and you can see that drop of about 200 feet. I feel that someone's like going to push me over the rail.
Oh.
And it's really, it's a weird feeling. It's a phobia.
It's a definite fear. So here are the top 5. This is on ThriveWorks. Claustrophobia, the fear of tight spaces.
Okay.
Right. And I think actually, and so I don't have phobias. That doesn't make me better or worse or whatever. Maybe I just haven't acknowledged my phobias. I probably have them and I just haven't acknowledged them. But think about that for networking.
Okay.
Right. So people don't want to be in a room that's either closed or a lot of people. I know people that when the room gets full, they get freaked out.
Absolutely.
Baby.
Yeah.
Like they're out of there. So number 2, this is interesting. Social phobia. It is the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Which is what I was saying. So I think people, they totally fear rejection. They fear the failure that could happen from sticking themselves out there. So they don't do it. Arachnophobia. It's the fear of...
Spiders.
Yes. Right into our theme today of Halloween. Arachnophobia. Or I'm sorry, acrophobia. Oh, there we go. Acrophobia. That is yours.
Okay.
The fear of... Did you know it was acro?
I did not.
Well, it kind of makes sense, right? What's an acrobat?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Acrobaty.
Yeah.
So, and then agoraphobia, the fear of open or crowded spaces. So it kind of makes sense that people, when we were Googling and I was doing some searching on networking phobias, that these would come up, because I think they fall right into why some people are afraid of things. So let's talk about how you tackle that.
Face the fear head on. But, I think first of all, it's recognizing the fear. And then you've got to come up with a solution for it. And again, for networking, I think one of the easiest things is, to attend small groups. I think one of the other things too is always go with a buddy, so that at least you know one person there. But I think if you start off with a small group, go with a buddy, and then again, you're working on getting better being around strangers.
So it's almost like you read my list. So remember I said we'd have 7 remedies for the fear, and it's all about acknowledging your fear. What is it that's keeping me from networking? I'm going to tell you a quick story because I think it was a sales situation, but it really speaks, I think, to so many people. And the sales situation early on in my radio career, I remember sitting in the parking lot and I was supposed to call on this client. I was supposed to actually get out of my car and go into the business and go call on this client. Well, I knew this client was very curmudgeonly.
Ooh, good word.
It's curmudgeonly. And I was afraid. I didn't want to do it. I feared rejection. I feared screwing up. I feared I wouldn't know what to say. So instead, I remember just sitting there in the car. I'm holding on to the steering wheel. Like, I don't want to get out of the car. And I'm like, I don't know how long I did that. It felt like hours, right? Finally, I forced myself because I knew I had to do it in that case. Right. In networking, nobody's forcing you to network, so I could totally see why people would bail. Like, they don't hang out at the steering wheel and just crank up the engine again and get out of there. So identify what it is that's keeping you from going in is so super important.
Absolutely.
So for you, you don't like heights, so you're not going to go to the Empire State Building and hang out on the side, right? So you're not going to go do those crazy things. And I think if you can say, you know what? I've seen a pattern when I go to networking groups and there are too many people that I'm bothered. So the first one on this list, and this is from Mind Tools, it's actually 10 ways, but I only liked 7 of them. So that's what we're gonna stick with. All right. So number 1, be selective. So to your point, being selective means choosing a group that's what?
Small, starting off a small group.
Yeah. So if that's how you like it. Now, some people like me, I actually prefer the opposite. So they don't have a phobia for that.
Right.
Maybe they do, and I just didn't find it. But I like anonymity. So I like lots of people, so I don't stand out.
You can blend in.
That's right. And then I can escape if I need to. So either way, though, figure out what it is and be selective about the group you pick. And you said this early on, not even knowing what my list was about. Do your homework.
Yes.
Okay? So finding out who the attendees are so you can get over your fear factor. I was just meeting with somebody and he was talking about, I'm kind of new to networking, and one of my fears is I can't seem to have confidence in my intro. So doing your homework means, hey, this is the group I'm going to. I'm going to overcome my fear by practicing my intro over and over and over again until I get it into my belly. He was saying, I've tried winging it. I tried adjusting on the fly. Never went well.
Doesn't work.
No. So if you want to add to your fear, just do it on the fly.
Yeah.
Right. Do it on the fly. So setting goals. You said that. So making sure that you know where you're going to go. And I think setting goals too. That's really what got me out of my car that day when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm riddled with fear. And it was knowing that I've got a goal I have to meet. I've got somebody who's got expectations on me, so I need to fulfill this, right? I just need to suck it up and swallow that toad. Number 4, consider conversation.
Well, it's having in your pocket a list of good quick questions that aren't just the standard. What do you do for a living?
Right.
That you've got something that's more interactive, that's of curiosity and so on. By having a good, have that in your up your sleeve type of thing, is that again you're going to bond, I think, quicker. And again, about it, you have the confidence of what questions you're going to ask.
Yeah. Yes. Come armed with questions. So along with the intro, your short little intro practice the questions.
Yes.
So that you don't get up there and you just start.
Well, hey, Sheryl, it's just like anything we do in life. You take our hobbies, whether you want to learn how to play the guitar, you want to learn how to piano, tennis lessons. If we want to get better at it, what do? We take lessons. Yeah. And we practice and we practice. why don't we do this to networking skills where this is how we make our living?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if we aren't making a living at it, it's because we're not doing the homework, the practice, setting the goals. You're absolutely right. And one of those is having a good conversation. That always, if I know that I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to find somebody and have a good chat, hey, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
I'll get out from behind I'll actually get out of the car and go into the networking event. Number 5 on this list of 7 is arrive early. How do you think that's helpful? I kind of had to ponder that one.
Well, no, I think that's good. But you get to scope out the room. You see where the cocktails are, where the water is, coffee. I think the most important thing, though, arriving early is to meet the hostess, so that you could introduce yourself to them and get a couple of brownie points of who they could introduce you to.
Well done. Now I'm going to give you a little tip right here. All right.
Okay.
When you do arrive early and you go get a cocktail, be careful about having too much witch's brew.
Yes.
It's just not a good thing.
Yes.
That's
good point.
Yeah, that can be a problem. That could be a problem. So, pace yourself. So know that these things can be very, very evil and work against you. So alternate with water. There you go. So arriving early, getting to know the host and all of that. So number 6, I like this. This is how trick-or-treaters do it. Do trick-or-treaters ever go alone?
No, never.
No. What do?
They always go with a bunch.
Take a buddy. It's take a buddy to networking day.
Yep.
So I like it and I don't like it.
Well, we don't like it because then you're going to spend all your time with your buddy versus going out there and meeting new people because you feel safe and so on. So yes, it's kind of you're handcuffed with each other. No, you can't do that.
And it's kind of scary too for other people who feel like they're being double teamed, especially if you both are from the same company.
Right.
I think it's almost
yeah, good point.
freaky.
I like that.
I'm like,
good point.
why would you? So divide and conquer. So take a buddy, kind of work the room, start getting your feet underneath you, and then divide and conquer.
Right.
So and then come back and together or whatever. But if you just like locked arms and I'm not gonna leave, I mean you look scared too, right? You don't look very confident. So all right, number 7. This is the last one. Sending the right signals.
Well, my first thought would be body language.
That's exactly right.
If I'm listening, did I have a good firm handshake? Am I staying too far away, too close? Things of that sort.
Eye contact, I think, is one of
Very,
those.
yeah.
It drives me crazy when I'm talking with people. Hopefully this hasn't happened recently. And they're kind of like looking at me, but they're like looking all around, like to see who else might be better suited for their conversation. Like I'm kind of locked in with Sheryl and I'd rather talk to somebody else. So. Please, somebody else make eye contact with me.
Well, what I practice on that is, and it took me quite a while to learn this, was I really do, when I am talking to somebody, is I focus on their eye. And it's kind of like staring them down a little bit, but you're trying to engage them. And I think it puts you in a position of power as well, where they're going to notice that you are looking them eyeball to eyeball.
Yeah. Well, and in the spirit of Halloween, just take the mask off. Just be yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't be scary. Don't be freaky. Don't be weird. Don't even be extra funny.
Right.
Right. It's just that's weird. So sending the right signals, the posture, the confidence, I think all of that is so super important. We've talked about the phobias. We've talked about ways that people are afraid. We've talked about ways that people can become unafraid, like just begin to get over it. You might not get over it completely, but it's a start. All right. So I want us to, before we get into your action items, let's do a little trick-or-treating.
All right. I'm game for that. I'm game.
All right. So trick-or-treat.
Trick-or-treat. Here.
All right. So I want you to pull something out of there, and
out?
I want you to give us a good networking analogy from this.
Okay. Here we go.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I love these Whoppers. And have I got a whopper of a story to tell you, because I got such a great Whopper kind of lead from my last networking meeting.
Yay!
Woo!
All right, so I'm going to dig down here. I love them. All right, so these are candy sticks. This is Barney from the Flintstones.
Love the Flintstones.
It's okay being a sidekick. right? It's okay being a networking sidekick. Just divide and conquer.
Absolutely. Very good. How about next? Here we got the Kit Kat. Love that. And that's, that's all about sharing.
It is.
And that is, what we talk about, the theory of reciprocity in networking, so important. So get your Kit Kat.
All right, I'm going to find one in here. Oh, I said trick or treat. Here's the trick.
There you go.
I got my eye on you, buddy. I got my eye on you. You can't get away from the all-seeing eye.
That's great.
All right. Okay.
All right.
You ready for your action items?
I am ready for my action item, and I think this is so important. I mean, it applies to a lot of things that we've talked about in our networking sessions, Sheryl, but going in and, getting over that unknown, getting over the anxiety, the stress, is go there and be prepared.
Yeah.
Do your homework ahead of time. And you know what? I find this is so true to me that when I have forgotten about the networking event at last minute, I go, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be there, not prepared. I go in there with high anxiety. And it really is an uncomfortable feeling. But when I know that a week ahead of time, I'm planning for it, I know the importance of it, I'm prepared, so much better. I enjoy myself better, and I get better results.
I think that's great. I think that's awesome. So I got 2 action items.
Okay.
So one is, as I'm watching you pull from our little treat bucket here, or trick or treat. Hey, you know what? Here's an action item. Why don't you go to a networking group and have fun?
Yes.
Right, without being weird.
Right.
Take a trick or treat thing. Like, let everybody pull from it.
That's a fun idea.
Isn't that fun? Now don't steal it.
Yeah.
Don't-
Okay. I won't.
Steal it.
I'll give a footnote.
That's right. Don't steal it, because somebody might come after you. So here's another one, and I just want to give a shout out just because he's a good friend of ours, a good networking partner, and that's George Mayfield.
Yes.
So here's an action item. Go look up his book. I know you have access to his book. You said it's
Right.
on your reading list.
It's on my reading list.
But here's the book. It is Scary Stories to Tell in the
Boardroom.
And he's all about scary. He has spiders in his house, like as pets.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No. So we should actually do like a Halloween party at his house with his scary pets. So George Mayfield, Scary Stories to Tell in the Boardroom, and he's got some great guest authors in that, and I think that would be super fun. That would be a great way you can find it on Amazon, Kindle or the hard book.
And it's coming soon to Rob's library, so come on down and check it out.
It is indeed. So this was so fun. Where are our pumpkin mugs?
Oh, I know it.
Okay, well, hey.
Here we go.
Here we go. I'm smiling because it's been a fun trick-or-treat day. All right, and
Be safe out there.
Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
Making money.
faster, and we'll see you next week.